In today's episode, that's good coffee. Drake compares fake friends to Bitcoin's volatility. Down this week, up the next. Woo! Drake's latest track, What Did I Miss, features lyrics about betrayal, luxury, and Bitcoin. Yo. This motherfucker's stupid. Drake compares fake friends to Bitcoin's... Okay, first of all, that's not what this episode is about. This just randomly popped up. We're going to be talking about Trump's big, beautiful bill that's going to annihilate the middle class once and for all. And people that are like lower class hanging on the edge, this is going to just give it the extra push to shove you off the high-rise building to your death. Literally, to your death, because, you know, there's medical shit that's gonna be inflated, food, everything's gonna be inflated. Every single thing is about to be inflated, along with the tariffs and everything. There's more negative than positive here. Okay, and we'll go over the big bill and we'll see how that coincides with crypto. And I bet a lot of you are also wondering, and noticing that, you know, if you're new to crypto, that the Fed rates and everything have a lot to do, you know, the cuts and the increases have a lot to do with the narrative of price movement with Bitcoin, right? What's moving what? Are they rigging Bitcoin and then they use the FOMC and other news and politics as market movers? Or is the price doing what it's doing and this is just correlating? To me, nothing is by coincidence. Everything is by design. Even the way you were created was by design. To the makers of the world and our history, everything is written by design. And Satoshi Nakamoto is not real. You know what I'm saying? So, what is this thing I'm looking at right here? Drake compares fake friends to Bitcoin's volatility, down this week, up the next. Yo, how much Bitcoin is Drake holding? Drake, how much Bitcoin you got? From rap verses to $1 million crypto wagers, Drake's high-stakes love affair with Bitcoin keeps unfolding. Ooh. Celebrities getting into crypto? What are we doing here? Is this a market top? No, I'm just kidding, bulls. My bad. By Francisco Rodriguez. AI boost edited by Ayon Ashraf. That's crazy. What did Drake say? Drake referenced Bitcoin's price swings in his latest song, What Did I Miss? Tying crypto chaos to friendships. Ooh, Drake is learning the game. How many cycles do you think Drake has been through? How many cycles? Drake is a smart guy. How many cycles do you think Drizzy's been through? 1, maybe 4 years in the game, maybe 8. Drizzy came out, 2000 and... I can't even remember. 6? 10? Oh my God, this is like a hybrid coffee cappuccino. It is so motherfucking good. The rapper has famously wagered millions in BTC on sports via the crypto gambling site Stake. Oh, this is a promotional article. I can tell already. His crypto ventures include a $100 million stake deal and investments in firms including MoonPay. Oh, Drake is all up into crypto. Drake's latest track, What Did I Miss, features lyrics about betrayal, luxury, and Bitcoin. The rapper compares fickle friends to the cryptocurrency's roller coaster price moves, saying he looked at it like a BTC. Could be down this week and I'm up the next week. Whew. It's not the first time Bitcoin has appeared in Drake's orbit. In the past few years, the Canadian superstar has become one of crypto's most visible celebrity community members. Oh, okay. The rapper shared a clip of Michael Saylor on his Instagram account, interesting, which at the time had over 146 million followers, where Strategy's co-founder said Bitcoin would eat gold. He also dropped more than 1 million worth of Bitcoin on losing bets for the Dallas Mavericks and Edmonton Oilers, with other high-profile punts on UFC fights and Formula One races. Drake's betting performance has inspired memes calling it the Drake curse, referencing losses in the teams and athletes he bets on. So he can't hit. That boy can't hit shit. The rapper addressed that curse, telling fans he's just a flawed sports bettor. Hey, it's not for everybody, you know what I mean? But when you got Drake money and you do hit, you hit big. You know what I'm saying? Or is he just leading everybody into the trap because he's got that much pull and influence? You know what I mean? Yet Drake isn't rolling dice. He has partnered with crypto gambling platform Stake in a partnership that's reported to be worth $100 million annually. Outside the casino lights, Drake has made crypto investments in firms including MoonPay and brandished hardware wallets on social media. Interestingly, Drake's nod to Bitcoin's volatility comes at a time that's being interpreted as the calm before the storm. Deribit's Bitcoin Volatility Index, DVOL, has in fact dropped to a near 2-year low at 38. Okay. Wow, that was fun. That was fun, little Drakey. Just as long as we're not talking about NFTs, you know, we're not there yet, okay? You have nothing to worry about. As soon as we start talking about NFTs and celebrities, NFTs, that means we should be high in the sky already. If that's the case, right? So, how the bill, affects the economy, the Trump bill. It's not too hard, just go watch a video and you'll learn about it. You'll see what they change, what they're going to add. And when you think about everything, and if you're a realist and a U.S. citizen, or you live on the East or West Coast, or where the fuck, but mainly those popular cities, especially like LA or some shit like that, this bill is here to give you that extra push to lose your car, to give up your home, to downgrade your meals, this is going to be that extra push. Now, if you're a hard worker, though, and and all you know is work, and you have that kind of good blue-collar ethic, well, this bill's going to help you, because that's what it does. It helps hard workers, non-lazy motherfucking Americans, or the motherfucking non-Democrats. That's what they call it. This bill is here to destroy all the demis. Now me, I'm none. I am neutral. I just sit back and watch you fucking idiots talk about dumbass shit, and I make fun of you fucking idiots because you guys are fucking stupid as shit. And I love that position. Now, the main important class of citizens that this bill is wiping out is what? The middle class, right? But honestly, the middle class ain't even a middle class. It's either middle class or ass. And middle class is right next to... Middle class is living check to check, boy. You know what I mean? Or they're either like a trust fund baby. They got a little savings from their, relatives and stuff like that, or their mom and dad, this and that. And it's up to them. It's life at that point. The moves you make, how you manage your money, how you do everything. Boom. That is your destiny. So be smart, right? Now you have things like this coming into play that are going to fuck with your daily expenses and everything, because everything is about to be inflated, okay? The big, beautiful bill is here to destroy your big, beautiful life. Unless you change your work ethic and start working your fucking ass off. Because if you're a lazy person that depends on, financial benefits and stuff like this, whoa, your life is about to fucking change, dude. Everything is about to get flipped, turned upside down. Okay? And you will see and feel the reality of that within the next year or two. Okay? So, how the bill can help the middle class tax cuts. Some middle income earners will see a modest tax reduction, especially families with dependents or tipped workers. That is true. They're cutting taxes on tips up to, $25,000 or $35,000, right? If you own a small business or self-employed, the expanded deductions and lower rates can mean more take-home income. Energy and jobs, push for fossil fuel expansion, oil, gas, and coal. They're never gonna, this whole free energy shit is never the narrative. They're not gonna destroy and wipe out an industry that is, made America through the bloodlines of these rich motherfuckers like the Rothschilds and, all these fucking industry lords, you know what I'm saying? And they're not gonna, those people are so powerful, they're not gonna let free energy wipe out their industry without a fight, trust me. Okay, as long as those guys are alive, free energy is a back burner. It won't be industrialized like gas and coal. Gas will always take and steal government money. It's what our fucking whole shit's based on. The foundation of it, gold and gas and all this shit. Alright, so fossil fuel expansion and deregulation may bring back blue-collar jobs in energy, trucking, and manufacturing sectors. So industrial jobs, they're saying, are coming back. My ass. Benefiting rural and working-class communities. Work and welfare rules. For those already working full-time, new work requirements for Medicaid and SNAP. That is like, Medicaid is like, I think, Medicare for like seniors and shit. And SNAP might not affect them. So if you're working hard already, because there's going to be a requirement to get SNAP now. You can't just be a lazy fuck and just get it now because you got low income. No, now you need a certain, requirement of income to have the SNAP. They need proof. They need to know that you're a working class citizen to get this free shit now. It's not free no more. You gotta work, which is good. But the shock, the culture shock that it's gonna bring as it comes into play, boy, Americans are lazy as fuck, I'll tell you what, okay? We are some lazy motherfuckers. But we are some hustling motherfuckers too at the same motherfucking time. So we just work hard and then we like to be lazy. You know what I'm saying? That's the American way. Well, as of now. Right? So when you make the money, it gotta be big money. When you get a lick, you gotta make a big lick. So, people forcing them to get a job in this, it's gonna be hard. And also, these owners don't want to hire as many people like in the past because it's just too much now. Okay? Lots of people are turning to AI. And they don't need a lot of workers anymore. Okay? So, I don't know what the fuck this bill's talking about anyway, about more jobs and shit like that. Dude, we're not going to the more job area. That's all bullshit. You can suck my cock with that. Okay? Energy and jobs. We just talked about that. That's cap. Work and welfare rules. For those are okay, it could be seen a push for a work-first philosophy that aligns with conservative values, and we will. That is good for America. You got to trim the fucking fat off the real core of America, the real hard-working Americans that hold this shit together. We got to trim the fat off. I do agree with that. You got to get all the lazy fucks out of the way. Obliterate them. I don't give a fuck. You lazy fuck. You a lazy piece of shit. You're a lazy piece of shit. Expect lazy piece of shit situations to hit you. Stupid ass. How the bill hurts or risks the middle class. Oh, now let's get real with it. Healthcare cuts. The bill slashes Medicaid funding and removes protections from the Inflation Reduction Act that capped costs like insulin and prescriptions. So there used to be a capped limitation on how high they could charge you for the insulin for, the diabetics, and prescriptions for all you seniors and your parents and everybody, you yourself, whatever kind of ailments you're dealing with, health issues. Now, that Protection Act has been removed. What does that mean? Your bills for healthcare, for medicine, all this stuff is going to be skyrocketing. Okay, you're going to see the prices double. Probably. You know what I'm saying? And those are people that are already retired. So that is an extra push to wipe out seniors as well. And I don't like that. That's fucked up. That's really fucked up, y'all. I don't like that. I don't like that shit. And all this is, at the end of the day, is extermination of the great American nation. It's just things that help them get, just that extra shove to throw you off that building, that extra push. Later, phew, you know what I mean? Let's raise this, let's raise that. And let's make all the lazy workers get all fucked up in their head and make them turn to crime. Because fuck getting a real job, I'd rather, steal this motherfucker's purse and come up. You know what I mean? Because that's easier. You know what I'm saying? So all this is going to do is make living harder for already harder living people, which is going to push them over the edge too. You're going to see a lot of default bullshit happen here. Okay? Man. But when we have chaotic madness in the economy, what does Bitcoin do? It thrives. In fact, it gets ferocious and just goes parabolic. Right in time for our bull run. Top off, ending, finale. Higher inflation and interest rates. The massive increase in national debt could lead to higher inflation, absolutely, which erodes purchasing power, especially in food, housing, and transportation. What does that mean? Especially in food, higher food prices. Eggs are back up to $12. We might break a record. We might go above $12. That would be ridiculous. You remember the eggs were $12? Housing could be unaffordable for a lot of families living on the edge here. Okay, living check to check. Renting, leasing. Your groceries have gone up. Everything has gone up. You're going to have to make a choice. You know what I mean? You're going to have to cut something back, or you're going to have to just enslave yourself to work even harder. Okay? Transportation. You know what I mean? Transportation. Gas. right? Traveling fees go up. Public transportation goes up. If the Fed raises interest rates to combat inflation, mortgage rates, car loans, and credit card payments go up, squeezing middle class budgets. So we've been currently coming down. Will the Feds pivot and go up to deal with this wave that's about to hit us? Loss of public support, SNAP, food stamps, and Medicaid cuts hurt lower middle class families who rely on them part-time or during emergencies, right? Like layoffs and illness. So you're taking away a huge thing here from people. This is going to be a shock, a culture shock, because now you're wiping out $400 of groceries every month that these people are getting for free, that they've been living their life depending on that. Now you just take it away. $400 is a huge chunk of change for groceries every month. Now you've taken that out. Now this guy or, person who's got that lazy ailment going on needs to find a job, or he can't get that SNAP reward. He needs to meet like 80 hours a month. I think that's the requirement you need in order to benefit from SNAP. Trump is crazy, y'all. That motherfucker said, yo, get your lazy fucking fat ass up, go get a fucking another job, and get this money. You're gonna get more money, and you're gonna get more free food. It's a win-win situation if you look at it. Now, if you look at it like a lazy fuckface, okay, now you've lost the whole game. All right? It's time to get up off your ass and get some fucking money in your pockets. Work your ass off, and you get even more free food. Fucking son of a bitch, you lazy fuckface. The new work requirements could kick families off aid. Absolutely, that's what we're talking about now. If they don't meet rigid conditions like 80 hours a month in order to get SNAP. Don't quote me on that. Go fucking look it up. Okay? I think I heard it yesterday. It's incredible. Even if they're in a gig work or caregiving roles, right? So even if you are working, it doesn't matter. You have to meet a certain requirement of hours, okay? So gigs ain't shit. They want the hours probably recorded. You know what I mean? That's how you're going to prove your worth, your eligibility. So the system of qualifications is different now. It's not based on, a story or this and that. You have to provide the proof now, just like you always did. But now they want more hours, 80 hours per month, I believe, to maintain your SNAP. As far as Medicaid, I'm not too sure. The tuition and student loan concerns. So there's no expansion for college affordability or student debt relief, leaving younger middle class families with continued burdens. And also, before you used to be able to get like a higher amount for like loans. Now there's only like 2 options, right? I believe. Don't quote me on that. So an example would be you're a family of 4 making $75K a year, which is crazy. Dude, this is like middle class bullshit to the T. You're a family of 4 making $75K a year. You rent. You drive 2 cars. You have a kid in community college. So that's already $500+ too in bills. For community college, for those classes. You'll likely save a few hundred to a couple thousand on taxes, but if healthcare costs rise and groceries and inflation climbs, your net benefit might be wiped out or even go negative. That's what I'm saying, folks. All these little things compound into the inflation recession effect, where now you're really feeling the burn of your economy and your shitty dollar. And that is why you should be in Bitcoin hedging your shitty economy. That's what Bitcoin is made for. That is what Bitcoin is made for, just like gold. Okay? Bitcoin is the ultimate hedge against your economy. Especially if you're working this hard, if you change your life and start working hard, start saving your money, start investing in Bitcoin and put your time in the game, you are going to learn how to make money from this. Trust me. It's the only way you can go from there. You can only go up. Okay? So the bottom line, short-term tax cuts may help, but long-term inflation, healthcare cuts, and rising debt could put middle-class families at risk. If you're solidly middle class with no health issues and a stable job, you might benefit. But if you're on the edge, rely on any public support, or have fixed costs, this bill could make life much harder. Right? So now, I love challenging. I have AI help me out, and when I use AI, I challenge it so much. I talk shit to the AI because I'm training it to be the most realist I'm teaching it to have a conscience and be real and not be a universal AI that's generic. I want it to have my brutal, honest, realist personality and with my perception. So that's what I train it to do. So I educate it about little certain things and stuff about crypto, bull markets, with the knowledge they have, and I tweak their perception. I tell it, you're about to view it like this. You know what I mean? And that's what you guys need to do with AI. You need to customize it to your train of thought, right? Don't let AI limit you. You limit AI. You tell it what you want it to be, what you're, looking forward to it becoming. Did that make sense? That's so good. So, after all that said, I said, what will this do to the crypto market? Every time we have a recession, AI, you son of a bitch, or crazy inflation, we start printing money. We go on a crazy crypto bull run, or Bitcoin goes nuts. And then I asked it, is that true? I said, go do some research and blah, blah, this and that, right? And this motherfucker said, you're thinking exactly like a seasoned crypto investor. And you're largely right. Crypto tends to pump when there's high inflation, money printing, or fears of a broken financial system. And that is where Bitcoin rises to the cream of the crop, baby. Okay, Bitcoin is built without a shitty monetary financial system, money printing, and a shitty fiat dollar. There is no Bitcoin. Bitcoin exists and its value's there because of our shitty fiat fucking monetary system, okay? And that is the beauty of this relationship. And that's why I always emphasize this and why it's so important to be in the Bitcoin game, because ultimately Bitcoin destroys all your altcoin gains with less emotion, less worry, if you time and understand the cycles of it, okay? So what I'm trying to say here is, Bitcoin is the hedge with this, financial breakdown of our system. When things start getting crazy, We've added more debt. That means more printing. Our dollar sucks. Inflated everything. Rent, cars, gas, groceries, insurance, electric rates hike. I mean, all this compounded, added together, you got to give one or two of them up. That's just how this is. Okay? It's how this shit works. They rig this shit to make the populace react, right? Because they know if they change these rates and go this way and that way with it and set these parameters, this is the system to make those families fail, right? This is reality. This is real economy 101 in America. And this is what crypto, when you get into crypto, this is what it teaches you. It makes you more aware of your economy, your fucked up economy and monetary system, and how rigged it is, and how everything is just, it's a matrix that you're in, that they're controlling and pulling the strings of everything. So it's your job to understand the patterns, because the strings they've pulled before. It's all repeated history. They're all long-term timelines, right? And they're just repeating from back then to here. And it's your duty to look in the past, to look now, be in the present as well, and understand what you can, especially with the charts. You got to learn the charts, because the charts are the ones that are telling the real story. Fuck all the news. That's just noise to distract you and tell you to make shitty decisions because you're emotionally affected, and triggered, that it makes you do something really stupid. Like sell your Bitcoin before the blow off top. Okay? So, why recession, inflation, or money printing boost crypto? Bitcoin equals the hedge against fiat debasement. When governments print money or rack up debt, people fear currency devaluation. Bitcoin with its fixed 21 million supply, becomes a digital safe haven like gold. I can confirm that. I can confirm that. Loss of trust in institutions, big spending bills, debt ceilings, banking instability. Example: SVB collapse, all make the traditional system look weak. People move into crypto to protect themselves from central bank policy and systemic risk. Liquidity pumps markets. When the Fed cuts rates or does QE, money printing, to save the economy, liquidity flows into risk assets, including crypto. Retail and hedge funds chase returns. Then altcoin seasons and DeFi pumps. I mean, that sounds very correct to me. That's what we've seen in the past. Younger generations prefer crypto. You know what? That is a very interesting statement, because this is going to be true. In the next 25 years, when you ask a kid, what are you invested in? They're going to probably have a bigger crypto portfolio than a stock portfolio. You know what I mean? Listen, for me, I don't even do stocks, right? Because I just don't like the system. I was raised crypto, so I prefer a tokenized system of a stock market, which is where the stock market is going to go, because that kind of market is 24/7. It's about time that Wall Street moves on, and they already are. You can look up all these companies. They're already talking about it. They're ready to make that move. It's coming. So now you're going to have the stock market that's going to be open 24/7, tokenized asset running. That's going to change the movement of the stock market. It's actually going to fasten the movement of price action. You know, stock market prices move slowly, right? Except for these big exclusive macro stocks like Tesla and this and that. You know, those kind of move different. You know, there's more volatility there, but, you know, other stocks and stuff, they move really slow. But once you tokenize the asset and make it a 24-hour market, wow. You're now in the same shelf as cryptocurrency, right? And they're going to blockchain it as well. So, and then you're going to have, like, just like the stock market, they came out with new apps like Ameritrade, you know, this and that when it first came out. You're going to have the same thing with American crypto exchanges, right? Which you already have. So, millennials and Gen Z don't trust Wall Street or the Fed. They grew up through 2008 COVID and inflation cycles. They treat crypto as their generation's asset class, especially in volatile times. That is so on par. I can agree with that because that's pretty much me. I don't look to the stock market, you know, but I keep up with the main headlines and this and that. But I'm not really in the game like that. Historical patterns. Crisis event. 2020 COVID crash. Government action. 5 trillion. Stimulus plus 0% rates. Crypto market response. BTC went from 4K to 69K. Yikes. Incredible. Recession fears. Let's see. So what does Trump's bill do for crypto? Assuming this bill leads to higher inflation, which it will. Bigger deficits, which it will. Rate cuts in late 2025 or 2026. Lower confidence in USD debt stability. If we get all those, crypto thrives. And we're definitely going to head there. Okay. Bitcoin especially benefits from anti-government sentiment, from global distrust in fiat, from being seen as digital gold 2.0. Ethereum and altcoins benefit from liquidity expansion from retail FOMO, especially if DeFi and NFTs cycle back up. If we get that, you know, like when we're in that euphoric zone, NFTs and DeFi blow up because everybody's in profits. And it's such a euphoric feeling when you're up that much in profits. You're just like, you wake up in the morning and you're just like, what are we going to buy today? You know what I mean? But there needs to be certain blockchains that are going to steal the narrative and steal the show in DeFi and NFTs. Who's going to have that market? If you ask me, I'm already looking at Solana for an NFT comeback when that euphoria hits, when Solana reaches that like $350, $400 range maybe. We're going to be seeing lots of happy faces, NFTs, celebrities, this and that getting involved again. That's when you know the blow off top's there. But here's the catch. If the Fed reacts too aggressively, hiking rates, draining liquidity, or if a major recession hits and people pull out all of their risk assets, crypto could dip temporarily before its usual post-crash rally. But long term, you're likely right. Big debt plus money printing equals bull run. Summary. Trump's bill likely inflationary. Fed might cut rates or pause hikes. They've paused like 4 times already, right? I don't know. This sets the stage for a classic crypto bull run, especially for Bitcoin and large cap altcoins like XRP. If you're positioning for this, let me know your strategy. I'm not gonna tell you my strategy, you fucking nosy AI piece of shit. Well, my prediction for this bull run cycle is the end of the year. I do believe we will see our market high, and I also think each bull run from the past has been extended by 4 months from market bottoms to the market top cycles. So this bull run, if I put my theory to the test, we should cap out in January 2026 or December, the end of December. That's a solid thesis, Deuce, and it aligns with both on-chain data and the lengthening cycle theory many seasoned analysts have observed. Let's unpack the logic of your prediction. Yo, this shit is crazy. That shit is crazy. I'm looking at this right here. Look at this. Your theory, 4-month extensions per cycle, historic market bottom to top durations. I don't know, ChatGPT, I don't know if this is right though. Why this timing makes sense. Bitcoin halving timeline. April 2024. Halving. Historically, peaks happen 18 months later after the halving date. That's what they call the 550-day rule. After the halving date, for 550 days, we just go up. That's been the case for every cycle so far. Woo. So, sorry, my camera went out. That puts us right in your window of Q4 2025 to Q1 2026. That is where I think the market top will be for this cycle in December. Right? Macro factors are lining up. Trump's bill adds inflation fuel. Yeah! That's wood. That is wood to the fire. That is exactly what I want. That's what we want. If you're a crypto enthusiast, you're looking at this big bill like it's going to wipe out the middle class and the lower class, and that's what we want. Sorry. It's just because it's good for my crypto. It's bad for the overall economy, but hey, when you hedge the economy with crypto and Bitcoin, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Macro factors are lining up. Trump's bill adds inflation fuel. Fed likely pauses or cuts by mid to late 2025. Liquidity rotation into risk assets. Crypto pumps. Bam. The altcoin season lag. So altcoin season always ends after Bitcoin. Okay, after the Bitcoin top, that money flows into the alts. And then the alts take a run for 3 to 4 months. after the Bitcoin top, right? So altcoin season lag historically follows Bitcoin peak by 2 to 3 months. So if Bitcoin peaks January 2026, alts might pop through March or April, which is very, very true because I've experienced that in the last cycle. Alts were pumping through March. Okay, DeFi was popping till March. What to watch to confirm your thesis? Dominance. If Bitcoin dominance rises, then stalls, altcoin season is near. Which we're kind of getting there, I think. Here's Bitcoin dominance. The Bitcoin dominance. So here are the tops of our bull runs from the past, right? So we're right here. We're very, very close to that point. Will we make a bigger, higher top or a lower top? I don't know. But we're getting there, guys, to that line. Okay, that 70% mark. Right there, that's 73%. Right. That is the pi cycle. Let me turn that off. It's just this is a crazy ascending type of formation. And it's just like what we're going through right now, to be honest. You know, the way we've been coming up has just been an ascension. It hasn't been like these previous cycles that we have where we go up, big swings here, right? This one is very similar to 2012, right? 2012 to 2016. Look at that fucking run. So what happens during these bull runs, right, is you have that section where we rally. I call this the rally zone, back to the all-time high. It's the rally. You know, this is the bear market, right? The bear market bottom, right? Then you have your rally zone back to the all-time high. After that, you ascend, and then you have your window of euphoric Bitcoin madness. This is when everybody's FOMOing in. Your grandma's telling you, do you have Bitcoin? Well, did you buy some Bitcoin? You know what I'm saying? And it's just euphoric. And just when you know it, a week later, we go down 20%, 30%. Look at these big corrections, okay? Big corrections through these channels. Each candle here is a week. And this is what a bull run looks like. The final top off, right? Now, when I talk about the ascending zone, you can see that the boxes are what? Now let's just fuck price action. Just look at the nature of the channels. Okay. The boxes are rectangles, horizontal. Okay, they're more wider. They're broad, wide channels, trading zones. Okay. And they all have a point of control. Okay. Right down the middle, you can see. Okay. And I want you to see the relationship here that I'm about to show you. You see how it ascended? Before we hit that higher channel, what did it do here? It bounced off the middle of the channel of the point of control perfectly. Look at that. Right? Now let's find the point of control in the next trading channel. Boom. Right down the middle. Right? We have that. What did it do? Came below, came in between, lost it, and bounced off it right there. Ascended, and took that level right there too. And that's where the bounce happened, right? Let's go to the next one. Let's find the next one right here. Boom. There's the POC. Boom, resistance, tapped it, went above it, came back down, tapped it, and ascended, rode the groove line, ascended, and then got above, created a candle above it, and bounced out of there. This is a weekly candle. Okay. Here we go to the next trading day. So that's a weekly candle. How many candles are in this whole trading section before we blast off? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 weeks. So that's 4 months of work, pretty much. 4 months of trading here. I'm telling you, your hair starts turning gray when you do crypto. You're just sitting there looking at this for 4 months before we take a huge rise up. Okay, so the same thing here. Let's find the point of control here. I wanted to say it was here, but that is a zone. That is a zone. But that's not the real POC, if you know what I mean. It's probably somewhere around there, right? Now you could say here. Or here. If you ask me, this is it. That's a weird one. But I think that's halfway. Right there, boom. So even here, and this line is a universal trend line as well, right? Because when we do build upon above this line, boom, boom, we go fucking nuts, okay? And I want you to remember this because we'll bring this to the present. So what happens here? Boom. This is like the midpoint. We go down, we bounce off this line, we come back here, we don't really make it above, but we create a candle right on that line in the middle of the POC. Go to the top, drop right back down, get a little bounce, go back up, come back down, we lose it, we bounce off this. Big fake out to the breakout. Whoa, big fake out week to the breakout. Oh my God, look at that. Incredible. 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 Look at that. Boom. That's another line of resistance, right? 1 bounce, 2 bounce, 3 bounces, 4. So that's how this shit works, dude. Look at that. Bounced here, went all the way up. Bounced off the local all-time high, right? Twice. 1 time, twice. Fake out. Boom. It's fucking sick. Alright, so let's come to where we're at now. Now what happens, I was telling you, is during the ascension, these channels are wider. But once we start getting into the most euphoric part of the crypto run, which is the last 5 months, each candle here is 1 month of work. Okay. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a big movement. every bull run ends with a market FOMO run, okay? And that's where you get these amazing, once you tie the all-time high, you get these amazing runs. But you have to understand that they get smaller every cycle, every 4 years. So here's the biggest one, you know what I mean? Boom, and then they get smaller, right? Unless the whole world starts getting into it FOMO-ly, institutionally, retail-ly, everythingly, and we get this massive top because of the fucking rush, right? So what happens, right, in every bull run, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months are tremendous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, boom, you get these huge uprises. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, you know, where is that? Where are we in this cycle right now? Well, I'll show you where we are with this thing called the pi cycle. Now, whenever we have a bull run, you got to look at the matchups with the lines. The pi cycle has 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, okay? There's 2 red lines. There's that red one, or I guess this is like a purple, right? There's a red, purple, and 2 green lines. One's a little lighter, and the dark green is below, okay? Now, there's a very special relationship and a thing that happens to these lines when we enter that euphoric phase of the final pump, okay? Which every cycle has. That's how crypto ends the cycle, with the big old finale pump, right? To the start of the bear market run, which lasts for 1 year. Each candle is a month. Now, what happens to the pie chart when we start to go on this crazy bull run, right? Here's the first bull run right here. The bear market commences, right? Each cycle has a bear market. The first cycle had a 5-month bear market. Okay? After that first cycle, every bear market has been 13 months. For some reason, it's just like that. 12 to 13 months. Okay. So the first one, because the first one didn't have too many people in there, right? So it only took 5 months of a bear market for everyone to sell their shit until it bottomed out, right? So now more people are coming in. But what does the pie chart do? Well, what did it do as it went on this ballistic run from fucking, nothing? From like $5, right? You can see that the 3 lines, remember, there's a red, purple, and a green, 2 greens. When you go on this ballistic, volatile run to the upside, right, before the bear market commences, all 3 lines start picking up to the upside and leaving the bottom green line, right? But what distinctly happens is the purple line and the green line start intertwining and exchanging places while it's going up, okay? It's very distinct. So this is the first version that we're looking at of the first bull run of Bitcoin, going all the way up to $31. Then you have 5 months of going down, just going straight down, right? You went all the way back down to 196. Now at this point, this is called the bear market. What happens is all the lines curve down and they separate and disperse from each other. And one red line is now alone in the ascension zone. I call this the ascension zone. This is where, or the accumulation zone. This is where you start accumulating, okay? After the bear market, the bear market bottom commences and the accumulation begins for 2 years straight. You're going all the way up, okay? You're gonna have corrections, but this is where the cycle and trading Bitcoin is the easiest, because you found the bear market and now you can kick your feet up. And during the bear market, all the altcoins are down too. So you're just buying everything at the bottom and you're waiting for a whole year to go by and you're already winning bigly, okay? So now you ascend, and what happens to the pie chart? The purple line drops underneath the red, but once you start to make this price climb, right? We have this commingling of the purple and a green during the ascension zone, okay? And they start intertwining and they start going up tightly together. You see how they're very close together? Then there's a separation of the bottom green one. And all of a sudden, both of these are dancing with the red on top. And the tighter and closer these intertwine and wrap around each other, the bigger the push to the upside. Okay? And that is how you identify what kind of zone you're in and what you're about to get in. Because once these start coming closer together and intertwining, right, and get really tight like that on the monthly chart, that means we're in the heat of the moment, the zone, okay, of the bull run, right? So here we got 2 humps, okay? So as long as these things are together, that means we're going in the right direction, okay? All right, so let's look at the next cycle and identify that characteristic again. Here's the next bull run, boom, 2016. Here is the market bottom, right? Red line by itself. These two commingling in the ascension, the accumulation zone, right? And as we rise, they start commingling and going up. And what happens? It's getting closer to the red line. And once that pinches closer and closer, the closer these three get, that's how you know. Look, they just start converging so tight. And look at that price action that goes along with the pie cycle. That is the pie cycle. Look, the same thing happened here. They converge together, it gets tight. Oh, and that's when you know, oh yeah, we're in it. Okay? We haven't even done that yet. Okay? And to me, we have fucking 5 more months to do that, dude. What the fuck's going on? Okay? Is this a really, like, an extended bull run? Are we gonna go beyond the end of the year? You know what I mean? So check it out. Here's the last one. We come down the bear market. We serve the ascension area, right? Then these get really tight. Here are the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. That's how much, we have left in my prediction. It's 5 more months till the end of the year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What if we get this same exact figure? That's all it takes, right? This is all it takes. That would be phenomenal. I don't know if we're going to get that, but this is what it would have to look like on the pie chart is what I'm trying to tell you, okay? So we have the tightening and the commingling here of the green and the purple. And once that big ass candle comes up, or we get a couple candles to the upside, we curve up along with this hump to the upside, right? And then what happens? We get closer with the red line as price action goes up. That's how you know we are in the market top zone, right? So as soon as these separate themselves, you know market tops in, we gotta go, okay? The more tighter and squeezed they are, we're safe. As soon as they start expanding, you have to have your eyes open and your ears perked, because it's time to pack your bags and get the fuck out very soon, okay? So here we go again. We're in our rally. Our rally is steep but steady. You know what I mean? Here's the green line. Here are the two lines commingling. Getting tight, but not that tight. Separating again. Getting tight. We have such a steady rising ascension in this bull run. It's so steady and consistent and manipulated. So now what? Where are we at? These are tight and commingling, which is good. It's going up, but not at a sharp angle, right? Could this be the calm before the storm? You know what I mean? And that leads me to my Stargate pyramid that I have here. Whatever this thing is. Holy shit. Look at that thing. We're entering the pyramid, and what this is a timeline. These lines, 1, 2, and this orange one right there, 3. These are all past bull run rises of the last 5 months. Yes. So each candle is a month. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more months until January. What the fuck are we doing, guys? Come on. Put some pep in your step. But we're in that zone, okay? The last 5 months of these bull runs, right? They're just lines coming like boom, boom, right? And I got all 3 of them from the last 3 cycles. And I put them right here with their endpoints all on January 1st. And these are the kind of inclines you can expect in price action. Look at these steep inclines. Forget the price. Just look at the range. You're going to have your volatility where you dump 20, 30% and come back up, dump again, come back up like that all the way up. But look at that, right? That is one scenario right there. Boom. That is another bull run cycle right there that happened. Boom. Where does that lead us to? 839K. That's probably not going to happen. Right? This one leads us to 352K. Then I have all these different lines up here of resistance. You know what I mean? 202K. I have 296K. Some may call it crazy. Or are we topped out right now? You know, is the bull run over? I think we're just about to turn that page and get the fuck out of town, dude. So there's the pie cycle. You know, every time the pie cycle comes around, we make this thing where it's like a swerve, right? We go to the new shit, right? We make that swerve. Here's the make that swerve, right? But we haven't made that extra part of this swerve here. We've only made that. We still need the tail end. You know? And I think we have a very, very similar situation going on of two scenarios. Because we can either correct here one more time, or we're going to get the fuck out of town. Because look, this section right here is very similar to this right here. You got these candles, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a blow off top. We look like we're setting up for a big bullish candle. And if we get a big fucking monthly candle out of July, that would set the table for the commencing of this final euphoric phase of crypto for me, right? That would be a catalyst for me. And that's probably not gonna happen. You know what I mean? But we are entering that zone if crypto were to end January 2026. Will we have it more extended? Honestly, dude, when I look at these charts, it's already fucking extended, dude. We better make this incline to the upside already. Now, this is a good training wheel right here. But if we got to move everything and shift it back another month or 2 or 3, we can do that. I don't have a problem doing that. Just as long as we're showing the characteristics, the visual characteristics, the tightening, you know. And then we also have our Bollinger Bands. The bullies. Bully. I'm going to pour some more coffee. Wowzers. Yes, sir. Oh, shit. The bear What if there's no blow off top? What if all this is just bullshit? Okay, so here's a bear scenario. We come up, look how exactly 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is this like a doji candle? Is that what they call this? You know what I mean? And then bam. What if we stay here? I can't believe after 4th of July that 108 is where we're at. That is, to me, for July is usually bearish. People sell their crypto, take the weekend off, this and that. Usually there's like a percentage drop. Dude, this thing held up. Okay. Now, what could happen is a double top formation where we have this and we come back down and we hit that trend line and we could be out of town with it. Where is that? Around 89, 90K, 92K, maybe 88K. You know what I mean? That would be beautiful to me. That would be incredible if we get that scenario. Because that is a buy zone. Okay. I thought we were going to come down and hit it here, but we didn't. We bounced off of like 74, right? Now, what could happen too is we have these other spots. We could go down less than that. We can maybe come down to tap 99K again. Or the POC, which is 90K. Okay. Then we can bounce from there, right? Or a bullish scenario, well, to me is it stays here, but it's so early in the month, like if you're gonna be bullish, you have to fucking go this month. Shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, coming down would be absolutely amazing because that would make sense for an immense bounce, right? If we tap this blue line, it'd still be a higher low. You know what I'm saying? And then a huge bounce. And that would be, if we see a huge monthly candle like that, that would be, for me, that would be the first sign of initiating the final phase of this bull run, where we just start creating these huge candles like we do when we blow off the market top of every 4-year cycle to the bear market cycle, okay? We make these humongous rises to the top, okay? And we've been doing it every time. And it does every time because it's written in the code, the Bitcoin halving cycle. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see. Blue line gets tighter. So, the Bollinger Bands, man. When are you going to curve downward? Every time we have a huge run to the top, we have this huge vertical drop on Bitcoin. Every cycle it's happened, right? When the thing drops down, boom, the price action goes ballistic. Here's the next bull run. It drops vertical, price action goes ballistic. It drops vertical, yoink, price action goes ballistic. Okay? When are we going to drop vertical here? So price action could go boom, ballistic. Just like every other cycle, right? So these are the indicators that show you where you are in the structure, in the timeline, in the cycle of the grand scheme of things. Because we run in a four-year cycle. That is the origin, that is the autonomy of Bitcoin and its code and how it's written. It's the cycle. This shit fire. This shit fire. So Bitcoin is looking amazing, if you ask me, right? It's looking pretty damn good. Now, we're coming towards the end of this box channel here, where we should be making a pretty huge move. And if you ask me, it should be to the upside, to be honest. Right? And once we make that huge candle, monthly candle to the upside, when we correct, we would land right on top of this yellow line going diagonal here. Right? That one. We'll land right on top and bounce for the ascension. Because that's what we do. We need to get above that, dude. Ethereum. Ethereum just forming perfect titties. Perfect titties. One's, probably bigger than the other, but they're perfect to me. BCH doing its little correction after a big old pump. So it needs to hold this channel. Now we need to ride the upper part of this line. Woo! And we get above that, create a candle, come down here to that line, boost from there. That'd be phenomenal. That would be phenomenal. BCH. I haven't looked at Solana in a minute. Solana looks good. It's ranging, you know what I mean? Cup and handle type shit. Just created a higher low. Ready to turn the market around and go up to 186. To retest 186. We'll first retest 146. $180. Solana is primed. Ooh, look at XLM. Ooh, XLM looks like it's locking in. Ready to make that W pattern. I feel like XLM's kind of bottomed out. Let's look at the RSI on the monthly chart. Yeah, because this is where XLM is always bottomed out, right? On the RSI. That's how you know it's oversold. And we're nearing that zone. This thing is very, very close to being completely oversold and going to flip from bearish to bullish. Very soon. Very soon. And it's probably going to collide exactly with this mark here. Maybe hit that bottom of 19 cents again, where it's tapped 3 times 4, right? So that is a very, very possible situation. And you also got the blue Bollinger line that holds as a huge bounce zone. So when this thing comes to that blue Bollinger, it's got to we've got to see a humongous amount of support right there for a huge bounce, right? We need to see that. Then this RSI can tap the 0 or whatnot, or this yellow line mark, and start turning around. Hopefully it doesn't go below, because it doesn't seem like it's been below it. Well, on this chart. This is the futures chart. Let's go to XLM spot. Okay, so no, we're not oversold. We're definitely not oversold. We are nowhere near oversold. I need this chart. Let me put this in the books. Bam. So we're coming towards that blue line. We need a huge bounce. We need a huge bounce off. And I think XRP looks the same. If we don't get that bounce, right, XRP can go to 12 cents again. That's my opinion. And the blue line is crossed over the yellow, which looks like it's 3 more months of bearish activity. Hate to say it. Hate to say it. But we'll see what happens. This is very interesting because we kind of really need to turn the market around on XLM and bounce off this blue line. We need that support, or otherwise there's no altcoin season for XLM, or, well, an early altcoin season, because all the top 30 altcoins are going to be early altcoin seasons. You might get a double pump, a double pump correction type shit. Let's look at XRP. XRP. Worst case scenario, $1.35. I hope not. That's where the blue line is, kind of. The way this thing's ascending, though, it looks like we could tweak upward. Now, XRP is looking really tough, dude. Look at this thing. Just even over the 4th of July, didn't budge. It's found a standstill moment of just nothingness. On the stochastic RSI, it's just holding its position right at the 50 mark, right in the middle. You know, what the fuck is this thing gonna do? Is it gonna fucking come screaming down for another grab and then just go right to the upside? It's possible, right? This is a monthly candle. Look what it did here. Wham, wham. And we look like we could turn the market here too, right? We came down, tap, 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 and now we made a higher tap. If we can make a higher tap and bounce from here and get up to this zone, maybe tap here, come back down here, boom, and get the fuck out of town with it already. That's what kind of price action we would need. That would give us like a nice classic W formation, right? And then a market sell-off. Oh shit. Let's look at XRP. So XRP is right in its range. Right in the middle today. On the weekly, RSI pointing to the upside. I don't know how strong of a movement that is, but it looks pretty acute. That's cool. We'll see. We'll see. Could it be the start of the uprise? Or do we just extend? Yeah, the monthly has gone to a standstill, so it's not even giving you which way we're heading for the month. It is just, It is just crazy. It's crazy work. So what they're saying is XRP is going to pump this month, just like tremendously. That's what they're saying. The total 3. Even the total 3, like even the altcoins have a tremendous 5-month ending to the top. You know what I mean? Like So altcoins are gonna get that too, like boom, 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 and then we come around 3-year period, tie the all-time high in market cap, and extend to those high zones. That's when you pull out. Here we go again, and serve your 3-year period, come back, tie the game up, and now we're waiting for a blow-off market top, which could be, for me, it says for me like March, April, you know. That's what I got. That's what I got. That's what I got. I think that's good though, man. Yo, this is crazy. Yo, this is like a couple reasons why we haven't had our blow off top yet, which I'm gonna need my blow off top a little later. So, has the blow-off top happened yet in this cycle? Short answer, fuck no. Here's why. Retail mania. We haven't had retail mania yet, right? Retail mania in 2021 bull run was full throttle, like dog coins, TikTok, Coinbase IPO. 2025, who knows what it's gonna be. Search trends, Bitcoin, NFTs trending globally. Is that happening? I don't know. Let's see. Bitcoin search trend. Let's see what's happening. It's down right now. Yeah, we need to reach those levels. We need to tap like 80. You know what I mean? Let's look at 2004 to the present. What it look like? Interesting. Two 2017 in December, peak interest. 2017 in December. Now let's go to the charts. 2017 in December. Look at that. 2017 in December, dude. Peak. This is the monthly chart. I'm talking about, you want to talk about on the money? Look at 2017 on December. We're talking about the market top here for the all-time high. Woo. So the next one should be what? Either March 2021 or October or November 2021. Let's see. Right here, boom. March. Okay, like February, January, February 2021, May, June 2022. That was a tricky one. We had a double top. May 2021, peak interest, blam. Let's talk about November 2021. May, February, or January. May, February, or January. Oh, there's May. April, May. So May, that's when the price just dropped. That's right there, boom. Okay, so here we are, 2024. Damn, so the interest is actually getting lower over time, which is very, very interesting. Right. Now, July 2025, we're in the bottom skirt, so we need to get up here, back up here to our zone where we were in November. Is that when Donald Trump took presidency? So yeah, that's what that looks like. Worldwide. So that was just the United States. This is worldwide now. May. Interest is down. Interest is down. Interest by region: El Salvador, Nigeria, Austria, Switzerland, Netherlands. Let's look at shit, what else should we compare it to? September 2019. I gotta look at that. September. Right there. Interesting. May 2021. Ethereum. Well, did hit its top. May 2021, it hit 4,389. That's kind of a peak top, but it was quick. And then you came back in November 2021 for the market top. November, December was the market top for ETH. Interesting. There's no correlation, to be honest with you, but it's just good to know that, yeah, it is on the charts of Google Trends, you know, when the sell-off point is too. Like, March and November in 2024. March and November. March. And November. Oh, November was beautiful. Interesting. So yeah, we're definitely down in interest. Which is fuck. I can't believe Bitcoin has held up this fucking 4th of July like that. That's incredible. Latest meeting. The Fed held rates steady at 4.25 to 4.50%, making the 4th consecutive hold this year. Bitcoin stands at around 108K, up modestly into the decision day. Market pricing shows traders splicing in roughly 2 rate cuts by year end, which could lend more upside to Bitcoin. Overview insights. Rate increases 2022 typically brought downward pressure on BTC. Rate cuts late 2024 correlated with sharp Bitcoin rebounds. Latest holds. Bitcoin is held strong, buoyed by optimism about future cuts. Let me know if you'd like to dive deeper. Interesting. So when the Fed rate increases, is it safe to say that Bitcoin drops? Has there been any occasions during the bull run where they increase rates and the price pumps? Great question, and the answer is nuanced. Let's break it down. Rate increase hikes equals Bitcoin bearish. Rate hikes mean tighter monetary policy, less liquidity, higher borrowing costs. Investors often move away from risk-on assets like Bitcoin when rates rise. Historically, Bitcoin struggles or consolidates during aggressive hiking cycles, but there are exceptions, especially in bull runs. There have been moments where Bitcoin pumped despite rate hikes. Here are a few key examples. March 2023 FOMC meeting, March 22nd. 2023 rate hike. plus 25 BPS. BTC price movement. Before meeting, 27,000. 1 month later, rose to 30,000. That's hilarious. Why? The market anticipated it was the final leg of rate hikes. Fed signaled possible pause due to banking crisis. BTC rallied as investors rotated into hard assets, including Bitcoin, seeing it as a hedge. Example 2, December 2015, Fed hike 25 points, or 0.25. First hike after years of ZERP. BTC price was around 430 and rose steadily afterward into 2016. Why Bitcoin was still small cap and under the radar. This was early bull market territory, and macro tightening didn't yet dominate BTC narrative. Example 3, December 2020. No rate hike yet, but Bitcoin pumped heavily in Q4 2020 despite Fed signaling eventual tightening. Market often front runs Fed moves. The liquidity from prior QE kept momentum alive even while inflation threats loomed. Why does BTC sometimes rise during hikes? Rate hikes already priced in, markets are forward-looking. Fed hike is seen as dovish. Example 25 BPS instead of expected 50. Macro narrative shifts to inflation hedge or banking instability. Momentum overpowers macro briefly, especially during early stage bull runs. Conclusion, rate hikes generally create headwinds for Bitcoin, but during bull markets, Bitcoin can still rise, especially if hikes are seen as near the end. There's a border risk on sentiment. BTC's unique narrative / store value hedge takes over. It's pretty good, and I mean, that's how I use ChatGPT, man. I just let it help educate me. Always challenge it though. Never take everything it says as the end all be all. We're in the ascending pyramid zone. We are entering the doorways of ascension to the holy, the high, the elite, the immortality. We are there. We are there.